up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artist React. Today we're looking at a few different things, starting off with Mars Attacks, the goofiest aliens you'll ever see, but also very interestingly made because they are creepy. Seriously, the way she walks is so creepy.
Also, we're gonna look at some really cool microscope photography that's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah, this is crazy. This isn't CGI, right? Let me finally listen to the comments. Shin Godzilla is in this episode. Do you think you know Godzilla? You've seen some Godzillas? Shin Godzilla is quite different and very special.
I can't wait until we get to see Elbow Godzilla.
Godzilla.
I suspect they have more to fear from us than we from them.
Back in 1996, there was a big attack from Mars.
Oh, you're right.
Oh no.
Those early CG days. So tough to get things looking real like this. Not a bad job though.
I was about to say, it was like, considering it's 1996, I feel like they did a pretty decent job. So the major effects in this movie were done by two different studios, ILM and Warner Digital, which was like a brand new company at the time. And Warner took care of all the spaceships, while ILM did most of the aliens.
Look at that secondary motion, cheek dangles.
The cheek dangles, dangle dang. Originally, this was supposed to be a stop motion movie. The aliens were at least supposed to be stop motion to begin with. And as they were getting going and they started doing some tests, they had a problem because all of the aliens had those glass domes over their head and it was reflecting all of the armatures and whatnot. And at a certain point, they kind of realized we might as well just do the entire alien CG, but they wanted to maintain some of that sort of stop motion aesthetic. They made an attempt to try to make all of the animations a little bit more like juddery a little bit to kind of make the Martians seem a little bit creepier. And they had a facial animation system at the time, but most of the expression that we're seeing is just based off of moving these little balls in these sockets for the eyeballs. What's really cool here is that the set of these UFOs, the interiors, are stop motion sets. They're miniature sets.
Oh, cool.
They had a really, really interesting motion control system that they called scan to move. And so they were able to get these shots through the miniature UFO and it automatically kicked out a digital camera. So they didn't have to do any match moving at all. It was just like, all right, we move the camera and we have a file associated with it.
Nice.
Which is something that I don't see that often. We're starting to see a resurgence of that these days with like using iPhones to automatically track stuff.
These shots are more impressive to me than the desert shots. When it's full CG characters like this, like it actually looks really solid and I'm not distracted by like the human beings interacting with cartoon characters. Like this feels like a cohesive scene. Like my disbelief is being suspended.
Yeah, well, it's also just like it's a better setting too, where you have more control with your lighting. It's like the ultimate test of anything that's CGI is put it out in direct sunlight and see how it looks.
Yeah.
So the thing I remember most from this movie was this frickin' woman who was a Martian and was just very scary looking. The way she walked, just like all smoothly, creeped me out for years. It's just, seriously, the way she walks is so creepy. Okay, so it's this next shot. Apparently, the hardest shot in the entire movie was this one.
Wow, rip.
Dude, the hole through the cheek the whole time as it goes up.
Yeah, right?
It's high level.
So they initially tried to use the tool that they developed for Terminator 2 called Make Sticky, which is essentially just projection mapping, but really early days. And it couldn't quite work. The way like her lips are distorting, the way you kind of see the relief of the brain underneath her skin.
Let's see, is that a still though? Like, are they projecting a still image and using that just as like a...
I think so. I think they're doing some sort of like projection distortion type thing.
But dude, check it out, like at the top,
The shadows?
eyes move. No, the eyes of the mask move.
Oh, wow.
What?
You see that?
Yeah, I did.
It's really subtle, but it helps it not feel totally fake, you know? Like it makes it feel like it's a practical head being held, even though it's probably just, what, like a composite? Like they get a plate here of the woman pulling the head up and then like a second plate of just the head for the texture.
So I don't think she's lifting her head off at all. Look at her hands. they're comped onto that hair.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of see a little bit of that fake contact shadow. Her pinky kind of disappears into the hair the moment she touches it. The hair doesn't deform at all.
Yes, it's a different head element. She's just going like that with nothing in her hands for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
There's some really like interesting subtle things happening that aren't like the main effect. For example, watch the hands and the forearms of the woman. We watch as they stretch and distort to make the motion work for going around the brain. Because the actress didn't do that perfectly necessarily. You know, they have to
Also, the scale of it.
Yeah.
She's having to like take the whole thing way off the top of her head, and so instead of having her arms like this, they're actually like this, but elongated.
Yeah. The other crazy thing is the relief of the skull and the brain underneath. As the head starts to go up, you don't see the shading, and then the shading fades in. It's very subtle,
Yeah.
but to suddenly give it the definition of
Yeah.
the skull underneath, all they can do is just fade, which is probably just a two-dimensional image of like the shadows, because they don't have like hyper crazy CG stuff, you know, back then. It's pretty
Works
crazy.
really well though. Like the
Yeah.
end result of that effort right there, you clearly see the alien head underneath it, and it achieves that effect.
Yep. Yeah, this is a shot where it's like you have the main effect and there's like 1,000 other effects around it that you have to do first just to make it work.
There's apparently always a shot in every movie that like kills the person working on it, and this was that shot. Mars Attacks. I've been wanting to look at it for a long time, and here we are.
So this is just mind blowing. Look at this. Watch this. This is mind blowing.
Oh, I know this account though. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, this is crazy. This isn't CGI, right?
There's like lots of quote unquote VFX going on, but
There's no way this is CGI.
this is
No, because this is an
real.
account that specializes in macro photography and robot arm stuff. So they're able to get incredibly precise camera moves.
Is it a robotic arm?
What might be the case for these shots is that they're very, very meticulously placed, and they're filming pretty wide, and they're cropping in and doing all the camera animation in post.
Yeah, like what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing multiple versions stitched together.
Exactly.
But that's the creative VFX part of this, which is like, yes, there's incredible stuff that you're seeing, like that's totally real. But at the same time, in order to kind of film it in such a stylized manner, we have to use those paint out techniques and tricks of camera motion to make it feel even more impossible. It's just really brilliant cinematography.
If it's one person making these shots, they clearly have a great understanding of cinematography using a camera and macro lenses, along with visual effects for all the transitions, but I think they also have an eye for animation. Being able to animate the camera with very smooth transitions in and out.
It's fun seeing things that you take for granted. If you were really tiny and slow, this is what the world would look like. Shin. What does Shin mean?
I don't know. A lot of people have requested or suggested that we take a look at Shin Godzilla. In the
I've seen
comments.
that, yeah.
And I was like, all right, I had it written down on my list. I went to check it out, and I was blown away. So we've seen a lot of Godzilla movies these days, but this immediately felt different.
Is this a Japanese film?
It's a Japanese film.
Copy, CO1, over. CO1 to PP1.
That shot's 100% CG, right, by the way.
Yeah.
All of it?
All of it.
Wait, how old is this movie?
I think it came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
2018?
All that city is CG, you're saying?
Yep.
No way.
But not the background there, is it? Look at the detail in that background though. Like right to the right of this building as we clear it. Look at all that. That looks real to me on the right.
Oh my goodness. It is.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Bravo.
It's pretty nice.
No, they did track in some real plate in the distance there though, but the stuff I was looking at was CG. I think Godzilla isn't real.
I know he's not real. It's a metaphor.
They're all getting headshots. Dude, the Japanese
Wait,
Godzilla
what?
is so gnarly looking.
Yeah.
He looks like
that
he's just
real?
a crustacean.
Is that a real Godzilla?
So, visual effects, they actually did a bunch of cool stuff. There is a CG Godzilla in this. A lot of these shots are CG Godzillas, but a lot of these shots are actually animatronics and puppets filmed on a blue screen of
Really?
a giant Godzilla. And it,
Okay.
Yeah, like they have a CGI Godzilla that actually looks great and like intercuts with the animatronic one perfectly. And I like that they made the CG one look like the animatronic one as opposed to making the animatronic look like the CG.
Yeah, that's the Baby Yoda approach.
Yep, it works great. It feels like they almost just moved the puppet and like filmed it and then just animated to that. When I saw this, it immediately jumped out to me how different it was. One, the cinematography and the approach to this is so much different. It's much more like tiny toys fighting a giant, very slow monster that's a monster. And its proportions are weird, its face is weird, it doesn't have humanistic expressions or angry eyebrows or anything like that. It is truly like a grotesque mutated creature. And the reason it's red and black Wren is because it's constantly mutated and growing. Like, it's not like it's a lizard that's big, it's like a flesh mass of mutation that's like in constant pain.
These explosions in Sims are pretty solid too.
Yeah, well, they actually use a lot of miniatures. There's a lot of stuff in this where, like, you know what? CG animation can kind of look cool. Let's just do it with miniatures. Let's treat it like an art form. Let's shoot it beautifully. Let's get some really cool stuff with miniatures that would either be incredibly hard to do with CGI or just looks delightful when it's a miniature. Now, you want to see something cool, Wren?
I would love to see something cool. Whoa. Oh, wait, the matting on that was interesting. Was that the blue screen
It might have been.
Godzilla, but with a liquid sim on it?
Probably.
Oh, he's got another jaw? What's he about to do? Is he gonna shoot lasers out of his mouth at the ground to blow up the whole city?
So cool.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty sweet.
That's a good use of a sim. All those buildings like curl the smoke around. Yes!
Woo!
I love it. That one plane. Longest lightsaber. Yes.
It's like super sick, but kind of campy at the same time. Oh wow, that was sick.
That's pretty cool.
Going through all the buildings in the distance.
Wow.
Wow.
Bravo.
It's a little campy at times, but then it like immediately switches to a super legit shot and then back to kind of a campy shot.
Yeah, it's Godzilla. It's truly Godzilla. Like, this is a Godzilla movie. It's not an American movie with monsters pretending to be a Godzilla movie. Like, this is a Godzilla movie. Godzilla is getting so many points for just being different that you're like, whoa, this is fresh, and this is crazy, and I like it. And it's effective too.
Yeah, interesting.
Ready to play?
Wishmaster, he's back?
Wishmaster?
We're back. We're back with more Wishmaster.
Wait, what is
Hold on,
Wishmaster?
let me get a cup of water.
Wait, was this like the one that starts out in like Egypt or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I do remember.
And
Yeah,
he turns him into snakes.
And Chase cut it from the main route. Like, it's in the extended episodes. It's not actually on YouTube, so.
That's the thing. There's a
I
whole,
want this to make it to YouTube,
There's a
though.
whole separate world of React that everyone on YouTube doesn't know about.
As Sam said, there's a whole world of React that if you're only on YouTube, you've been missing. So check it out on quarterdigital.com.
But today, that world is coming to YouTube.
We'll see. Chase gets to decide.
No, we're deciding right now.
So just a real little recap here. The main character is the genie guy. He's always monkey pawing his way around. He can only do something if somebody asks him to do it, so he's always trying to like manipulate the situation.
I have to get inside.
Well, now you'd have to go through me, and that is something I would love to see.
Ooh, the Wishmaster look.
Yeah, God, it was so cool. And then once it was almost gonna be cool. It was so close to being cool.
Oh man.
I was like, the scene's kind of working. I'm kind of into the scene. This is funny because he's like, I want you to leave.
Yeah, and he's like,
And he's like, no. Like, see, like it's good. It's like actually cool. And then, oh no. And then what?
It's the last part here. It's like, okay, cool, he walks through it, and then just...
Why does it have to hit the... It's not a... Is this not a 3D
Was this a 3D movie?
I mean, this is cool too. It's kind of gruesome.
It's gruesome. I guess he's getting pancaked in the glass.
What flips me out is that, like, he was facing the other way, and now he's facing this way. Is his face just on both sides of him now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
Well,
where's
he's made out of glass.
He
He's like,
makes 2D.
But where's
turned
the
into-
back of his head?
He got turned into, when you go to see a stained glass window, it's not like the back of Jesus on one side and the front's on the other.
Fair. I was just assuming he got squished into that. There should still be some, but I guess he got converted into a stained glass man.
All right. No, Wishmaster's good. That was great.
Yeah, till next time, Wishmaster. It was great.
So I discovered Wishmaster because of the comments, so please leave a suggestion down below. I haven't seen every movie, it's impossible, but I would like to try. So yeah, throw down some bangers, some things that you think people haven't seen that are visually awesome.
I have seen every movie.